What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another FPL Seal video. Today I have my thoughts and my team selection for game week 18. Now if you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel to help me grow this community. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm recording this before the Man City game and I'm on 66 points as it stands. The game week went quite decently. So overall, I think this was a very decent game week. A huge disappointment to lose Reece James after his first game back. Now, Arrizabalaga, Trippier, Rashford, Salah, all just doing brilliantly for us. While Martinelli and Martial kind of, they didn't really disappoint in that way. I had high hopes for Martial, so he disappointed a little bit, but still, return is better than nothing. And then Trossard, Darwin and James are huge disappointments. Now, on the bench, we had Danny Ward with 1 point, White with 2, Andres Pereira with 3, and Patterson with 0. So there's no real issue that I benched any big points. So who could have guessed the James injury? I mean, there was nothing there. But enough with this. Let's get into how I'm setting up for game week 18. So for game week 18, we'll start with the defense. It's just going to be the same as it was, except for the fact that Reece James moves to the bench because of his injury, while Ben White comes into the side for his Brighton away fixture. Now, Patterson has Manchester City, and James is such a big doubt, and he just posted on social media that this has been a difficult year and all that. So it sounds like he's going to be out for a while. Patterson has Manchester City. It was never a question that Ben White was just going to get into the team. The only question is, will I be moving James out of my side before game week 18? And as of right now, I can tell you that I'm not planning to do so. And I'll go into that a little bit later, why I wouldn't do it. Trippier has a very decent fixture against Leeds, who actually have a decent attacking threat in Rodrigo and, more players. But overall, I think Trippier is a really decent option and you just play him. A lot of people are thinking about benching Trippier for the Leicester game, and you see how that went, how that turned out. 12 points, and I mean the man's a beast, and I would just keep him if I were you guys. Now Cancelo against Everton, I mean we don't bench Cancelo. He's a really good player, a good attacking threat, and can on any given day give you an 11-point return. So he's just going to play. And Ben White, of course, we're just going to kind of have to hope that Arsenal keep a clean sheet against Brighton, but that remains to be seen. Now, what do we do with Reece James? Now, there are 3 ways that I can see you guys going with this. Now, you could do Reece James up to Andy Robertson, or, because if you look at the players that are options there, then you have Trippier, which I think is the obvious choice if you don't have him. Then there's Diaz, and then there's the whole Liverpool defense, and then Cancelo. So you could look at any of those options if you want to upgrade him. Also, that would let you keep the funds, so it's easier to get him back if he returns on this season. But, that remains to be seen. If you're going up, I think Robertson should be your choice. I mean, the Liverpool defense is really, really shaky, and I wouldn't expect too many clean sheets. I mean, they were lucky to concede only 1 to Villa, and maybe with a better forward, Aston Villa would have, buried them. Robertson has been a man in form. He's got 4 assists in the 4 last games he's played in the Premier League. He's 6.8 million, so it's 1 million more expensive than Reece James. He's got 8 points against Aston Villa last time out, and now he has Leicester, who actually conceded 3 against Newcastle. Didn't look that good, all that impressive. So if you're going up, I think he is the one you should be targeting, unless of course you don't have Trippier or a Man City defender. Now the second option we're going to discuss is rolling the transfer and just benching James for now, which is what I will probably end up doing. Now the reasons for that is because it'll be a lot of value to have 2 free transfers next game week, where you can actually probably move Mitrovic in for his double game week if you don't have him, and you can remove James, and put him into any other defender. Also, it'll give us another game week to view defenses. Are Chelsea solid? Would that make you want to keep a Chelsea defender in your team? Would that make you want to move to Brighton, Arsenal, Liverpool? It'll give you another game week of watching the teams and getting a little bit more of the eye test and, of course, more stats to back your thinking. But if you do not want any of those, then the third option is the cheaper option, and that could be Kyle Walker, Akanji, or any Man City defender who you think is nailed in that side. Just watch the lineup for the Leeds game. Or a Brighton defender if you think they're going to have a double game week soon. A lot of people do think that that's going to happen. And then, of course, you could just go down to Cucurella or Thiago Silva or Koulibaly or someone like that, or Chalobah, and just keep it within the Chelsea team. But of course, there are other options. You could go way down to Bueno and use the funds elsewhere. You could go to an Arsenal defender, a Man United defender. You can pick and choose. You could even go Botman and double up with Trippier on the Newcastle defense, although I'm not overly keen on that as an option. And now we have the midfield. So Martinelli, Trossard, Salah and Rashford are just the same midfield as I played in this game week. It was an absolutely fantastic game week from the midfielders. They were the stars of the last game week. Salah scoring 12 points, Rashford 14, Martinelli 8, and only Trossard disappointing with 2 points. Now Trossard is going to get the second chance against Arsenal. The reason I started with Trossard was because I think people think that Brighton's going to have a double game week, possibly a triple game week in 21. And if they do, I'd like to have Trossard in my team. But he has disappointed so far. He was very disappointing, when Brighton score 3 goals and he doesn't get on the end of any of them, doesn't get an assist, doesn't get nothing. That is quite disappointing. But I think he is one of the best players in Brighton, so we're just going to keep the faith with him for a little while. And then maybe next game week, if he still doesn't deliver, doesn't do anything, doesn't look at all threatening, then maybe we'll look at removing him, putting in Almiron, or moving up to Mount for his double game week or something like that. So Salah is the vice captain for this game week. He had a really good return against Aston Villa, and now facing a poor Leicester defense, I think he might be on fire for the second half of the season. 12 points, really nice. Hopefully he can double that next time out, get 24, and at least get 12 points again. That'd be fantastic. And then finally is Marcus Rashford, and he was fantastic. He was on fire for Manchester United against Nottingham Forest. Now Wolves I expect to be more of a threat, so I'm not expecting exactly 14 points from Rashford. I think he might actually have a decent return against Wolves. I mean, any attacking return, and we're very happy with that. But he is the Manchester United player to own right now. If you don't own him, then you might want to look at getting him in. And then finally it's the attackers. Now we do have Erling Haaland as captain. We're not going to discuss that too much. We still have Darwin Núñez, who very much disappointed against Aston Villa with his 2-pointer, but it could have easily been a 20-pointer. It was insane. It's insane how good he is, but at the same time, he just can't finish his dinner. He can't score. He can't take his chances. I think it's only a matter of time until we have that Darwin 20-pointer we're all waiting for. But Anthony Martial, he completes the lineup with Wolves away, just like Rashford. I don't know if I'm actually keen on Martial and Rashford together, the double up against Wolves, who I think are relatively defensively sound. But they did link up well for that second goal for Manchester United yesterday. And I think, of course it was a little bit lucky, but I think that might actually boost Martial's confidence, and he could go on and possibly score against Wolves. I mean, that would be brilliant. But he gets his second chance to impress versus Wolves, having only returned 6 points versus Forest. So as if that's horrible, but I just had such high hopes for him against Nottingham Forest that I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't deliver anymore. But what can you do? We can only hope that he delivers more than Mitrovic in the next game week, and that Mitrovic gets his yellow card next game week, and that might actually put me off buying him, or else Mitrovic might actually have to come into this side. Now finally we're going to end with the talking points. Now, why saving the transfer might be the play. Now, the reason, I've gone a little bit into this, but the reason that I want to save the transfer is because there's so much value in your transfers right now. And there are double game weeks set to be announced. We don't know when that's going to happen, but the longer we wait with our transfers, the more flexible we are going to be to actually react to those things, to react to those double game weeks that come along. And that can really give us an edge on the other players who are trigger happy and just making transfers left and right. And then of course the price rises, Almiron and Mitrovic. Now there were price rises last night. I believe Mitrovic and Tony went up in price. That has started again. I urge you not to make transfers early unless you're being priced out. Now I mean Almiron, he's 5.8 million. Even though you get him for 5.9, for 6 million, for 6.1, it doesn't matter. He is still going to be huge value for you, so do not take that risk. Just make sure you're 100% okay with the transfer you're about to make. If you're going to go early in on him or on Mitrovic or whatever, 0.1 doesn't matter unless you're being priced out. So I'd rather have taken my time, do the research, view the eye test and all that. What if Cancelo and Haaland get injured in the game later on and I've already transferred in Mitrovic and Almiron? Then I have to take a -8, -12, and everything gets thrown into a loop. So it's sometimes best to just sit on your hands and do absolutely nothing. But that's going to end the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash that like button, keep subscribing to the channel, and help us grow as a community. Now, tell me what you're thinking for Game Week 18 down below in the comments below. I'll try and respond with my thinking and what I think you should be doing if you want any help. But other than that, that's goodbye for today. I will see you next time. Goodbye.